The duel at dawn in the quiet town of Evershade, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, life moved at a leisurely pace. The town was known for its cobblestone streets, charming cottages, and the grand Evershade manor that stood on a hill overlooking the village. The manor belonged to the Ashcroft family, whose influence had shaped the town for generations. Yet, beneath the serene surface of Evershade, a storm was brewing, one that would culminate in a fateful duel at dawn. At the center of this unfolding drama were two men, Sir Harold Ashcroft, the proud heir to the Ashcroft legacy, and James Hawke, a charismatic newcomer who had quickly become a favorite among the townsfolk. Sir Harold was known for his stern demeanor and unyielding adherence to tradition. James, on the other hand, was a man of the people, charming and approachable, his presence a breath of fresh air in the old town. The conflict between them began innocuously enough. James had arrived in Evershade a year prior, purchasing a modest estate on the outskirts of town. His easygoing nature and willingness to help others soon won him the affection of the villagers. Sir Harold, however, saw James as a threat to his family's long-held dominance. Tensions escalated further when both men found themselves vying for the attention of Lady Eleanor, the most sought-after woman in Evershade. Lady Eleanor was a vision of grace and beauty, with a sharp mind and a kind heart. She had grown up in Evershade, and though she admired Sir Harold's strength and dedication, she was captivated by James's warmth and charisma. Her torn affections only served to heighten the animosity between the two men. The final straw came during the annual Evershade Ball, a grand event hosted by the Ashcroft family. The ball was a spectacle of elegance and tradition, with townsfolk and nobility alike gathering to celebrate. It was here that James, emboldened by the evening's revelry, asked Lady Eleanor for a dance. She accepted with a smile, and they moved gracefully across the dance floor, their chemistry undeniable. Sir Harold watched from the sidelines, his face a mask of controlled fury. When the dance ended and James escorted Lady Eleanor back to her seat, Harold approached them, his posture rigid with barely concealed anger. "Mr. Hawke," Harold said, his voice cold and clipped. "You have overstepped your bounds." James met his gaze evenly. "I assure you, Sir Harold, I have done nothing but enjoy the evening's festivities." Harold's eyes flashed with anger. "You insult my family and our traditions with your impudence. This will not stand." James squared his shoulders. "I have no quarrel with you, Sir Harold. But I will not be intimidated." The tension in the room was palpable. Lady Eleanor stood between them, her eyes pleading for peace. But it was too late. The challenge had been issued, and neither man was willing to back down. "Very well," Harold said, his voice like steel. "We shall settle this as gentlemen. At dawn, in the clearing by the old oak tree." James nodded, his expression resolute. At dawn. Word of the impending duel spread through Evershade like wildfire. The townsfolk were divided, some supporting the noble Sir Harold, others siding with the charming James. Lady Eleanor was distraught, torn between her feelings for both men and the fear of losing them. The night passed slowly, the air heavy with anticipation. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the town gathered at the clearing by the old oak tree. The atmosphere was tense, the silence broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves in the morning breeze. Sir Harold and James stood facing each other, their expressions grim. They exchanged a nod of acknowledgement, then turned back to back. Lady Eleanor stood to the side, her heart pounding with fear and sorrow. 10 paces, Harold's second, a stern-faced man named Edward, announced. "Then turn and fire." The men began to walk, each step echoing in the stillness of the morning. 1, 2, 3. The tension was unbearable. At the count of 10, they turned simultaneously, pistols raised. A single shot rang out, followed by a gasp from the onlookers. James staggered, clutching his side, blood seeping through his fingers. He fell to his knees, the pain evident on his face. Sir Harold lowered his pistol, his expression unreadable. He took a step forward, then stopped, his gaze locked with James's. "You fought bravely," Harold said quietly. "But this feud was never truly about Lady Eleanor, was it?" James shook his head, his voice strained. No. It was about respect, and the right to live in peace. Harold nodded, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. Perhaps we both have something to learn from this. He extended his hand to James, a gesture of reconciliation. James hesitated, then grasped it, his grip firm despite his injury. Lady Eleanor rushed to James's side, tears streaming down her face. Please, someone help him, she cried. The villagers, moved by the display of courage and forgiveness, stepped forward to assist. James was taken to the village healer, who worked tirelessly to save him. Days passed, and the tension in Evershade began to ease. Sir Harold visited James daily, their rivalry replaced by a newfound respect. James eventually recovered, and the bond between the two men grew stronger. They worked together to improve the lives of the villagers, their combined influence bringing prosperity and peace to Evershade. Lady Eleanor, relieved and grateful, found joy in the harmony that had finally been achieved. The duel at dawn became a legend in Evershade, a tale of pride, rivalry, and ultimately, redemption. It reminded the townsfolk of the power of forgiveness and the importance of unity. And as the years passed, Sir Harold and James Hawke's friendship stood as a testament to the strength of character and the enduring spirit of reconciliation.